There are people in this world that are half as talented as you, making twice as much money as you, living three times the life that you have right now. And that should piss you off because deep down, you know that you're not a lazy person. You know you're not dumb, you're not stupid, and you've been putting in the work every day. Maybe it hasn't been perfect work, but it's been enough for you to stand there and ask yourself, why haven't things been changing for me? In this video, I'm going to share with you one thing, the single golden thread that connects every wildly successful person you have ever admired. I'm going to tell you what they know that you don't and how to apply it to your own life so that you can make changes forever. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to share something with you that will help you along your journey. But before we can even talk about any of that, there are two massive misconceptions that we need to absolutely destroy right now. Whenever we look at the most successful people in the world, and sometimes we compare ourselves to them, we tell ourselves one of two stories. The first being that they were born that way. They were born with something I don't have, an advantage. The second story is they just got lucky. They have access to a lot more opportunities than I do. And while those things are true to a relative degree, in reality, they are just comfortable lies. They are things we tell ourselves over and over again so that we stay hidden away and we don't compete with the biggest and the best in the world. So let's start with the first story. And yes, some people do seem naturally confident, naturally charismatic, as if they were just born to stand and talk to the whole freaking world. But in reality, confidence is not something you are born with. It is the side effect of a long list of daily habits. So what that means for you is that you are not actually shy. You've just practiced a lifetime's worth of shy behaviors to become that way. And so every small habit that you've repeated over and over and over again since you were a child has created this version of you that exists before us today. Now, this is going to sound dark and sad, and I don't mean to take it in that direction, but some of us have lived less than ideal lives. Maybe our parents and our families were not that happy. Maybe there wasn't as much love in our lives. Maybe we were not as financially stable. And the result of that life for a lot of people is teaching yourself how to be a people pleaser, how to be an introvert, how to make yourself small so that you don't get in the way of everyone else in the world. But on the other hand, the person that you say was born with something that you're not might have just been born under better conditions. Maybe there was more love in their house. Maybe there was more financial stability. This person felt safe enough to take risks every day and to build different habits to you. So what that means for you is that the way that you speak, the way that you avoid speaking, the way that you communicate, the way that you hide yourself, all of those things are born from a series of habits. But all of those things can change. So if we look to the past, make some notes, make some adjustments in the present, we can influence and change the future outcome. So if you were born behind in life, that's okay, because there is no amount of talent that can outwork consistency, dedication, repetition. Now let's talk about that other story. The other misconception is that, oh, they were just lucky. They just have more opportunities for me. And this one pisses me off because yes, to a certain degree, luck does exist. I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't. But it is also not some magical force that is bound by destiny from the heavens above. It's mathematics. So I want you to think of it this way. Luck has a surface area, and the more actions you take towards a goal, the more habits you build towards a goal, and the more steps you take towards a desired outcome, that surface area becomes much bigger, which means there's a much larger opportunity for luck to strike. So imagine this. If I bought a lottery ticket once a year and I played the lottery once a year, it would mean that I have one opportunity a year to win the $156 million jackpot or whatever. But if I played the lottery as much as humanly possible, if I bought a ticket every single day for an extended period of time and kept playing, it would be unreasonable for me to not eventually win something, because then your chances of winning are exponentially higher. The most successful people in the world didn't just stumble across luck. They increased their odds through volume. by showing up every single day and doing the thing again and again and again and again until something big happened. And so they made themselves eligible to be more lucky. So what is this golden thread that connects all these wildly successful people? Because we've just spoken about it. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's also not money or the connections that they have. So what is it? It is the ability to transfer an idea from their brain into your brain clearly and emotionally. Now, we call that communication. And that is the single most underrated skill on planet Earth. Because if you cannot make people understand the ideas in your head, you will never be able to sell those ideas. You will never be able to lead people with those ideas. You will never be able to inspire people with those ideas. And so therefore, you will die with good ideas in your head, and that should scare you. So what exactly happens if you don't master the skill of communication? If you are building a business, the success of that business is entirely dependent on its ability to communicate its solution to the rest of the world. So what that means is if no one is buying from you, if nobody is interested in what you're offering, it's not because your product or service is shit, although objectively it might be, but it's most likely because they don't know who you are. They don't know how to work with you. They don't know what problems you solved because you're not communicating efficiently. And so similarly, if you're posting content and nobody's watching it, it's not the algorithm. Maybe you haven't yet learned how to tell an engaging and captivating story that inspire people. So if you're stuck in a 9 to 5, for example, a promotion is not just going to fall on your table. They're not just going to pick you. It comes down to your ability to communicate your own value and your own impact to the people around you, make them care about the things you have to say. So maybe it's not a missed opportunity, but maybe it's an opportunity to communicate better. You could be the hardest, most talented person in any room you walk into, but if you cannot articulate why that matters, you are forever going to be stuck sitting there watching people half as talented as you make it way further in life than you ever could. And that should piss you off. Because when you sit there and you're feeling sorry for yourself and you're comparing yourself to everyone else, when you look around you, what you are seeing is not a bunch of people that are better than you. It's a bunch of people that can communicate better than you. The most successful people in the world, Alex Hormozy, Gary Vee, Steve Jobs, Logan Paul, Andrew Tate, they've all built wildly different empires to one another, but they have all mastered this one skill. And it's the ability to communicate. It's the ability to tell stories. It's the ability to take complicated ideas and explain them in a simple way without confusing people. The beautiful thing about studying these people is that they didn't begin that way. You can go back and watch their content, and in the beginning they stumbled, they mumbled, it was awkward, it was even boring at times. But they changed the way that they communicate, they changed their habits. And so over time, they became master communicators. They learned how to transfer ideas from their brain into your brain, which is why you admire them in the first place. All these people built their wealth and their success off of communication and being able to do that at scale. That is the biggest difference between winners versus losers. Winners learn how to speak while losers wait to be chosen. Winners collect stories and analogies and better ways of explaining things while losers collect excuses. Winners learn how to make other people feel seen and heard and understood while losers stand there and talk about how cool they are and they talk about themselves. Winners master the art of one-to-one communication while losers they chase validation and likes and views and going viral. And that is the gap between you and the most successful people in the world. But the amazing thing is that gap gets smaller and smaller and smaller the more you master that skill. Poor communication doesn't just cost you money, it costs you peace. Look at some businesses in the world. Every year, constantly hiring new graphic designers, letting go of a graphic designer, hiring new salesmen, letting go of salesmen, constantly leaking bottom line. Why? Because we have people in leadership positions that are incapable of communicating with people. So when leaders cannot communicate effectively to the people that they are responsible for leading, it creates friction, and then they don't want to be there anymore. That is the reason your colleagues keep clashing. That is the reason your relationships feel unstable and they constantly break down. That is the reason your ideas stay inside your head instead of being explored on a stage, in a boardroom, in a meeting, in front of a camera, whatever. Because all of these things, leadership, relationships, sales, negotiations, pitches, they are all just different forms of communication bound by the same principles and philosophies. So when you learn how to improve the way that you speak and communicate, you improve your entire life. And so going forward, now that you understand this difference between you and the most successful people in the world, there's no longer an excuse for you to not be more successful. You don't need to be born with it. You don't need to be lucky. You don't need money. You don't need connections. You just need to start changing those habits today. I want to help you on this journey. So I've created a free 7-day email course, which is linked in the description below. What this means is every single day for 7 days, I'm going to share with you one habit that is quietly destroying your communication skills, and I'm going to tell you how to fix it. So by the end of the week, you're going to be more articulate, you're going to be a better speaker, and you're going to be able to control how other people see you. And so if you're ready to start closing that gap between you and the most successful people in the world, you can click that link in the description as your first step, get that first email, and start breaking these habits immediately. Because now you know the difference between winners and losers is not talent and it's not luck. It's your ability to speak and connect and communicate with the world around you. And that is something you can learn right now.